Here we are ready to do our first 3-card spread. I am using the Osho Zen deck, and what I usually do when I'm doing a reading is if I'm sitting across from the client, I will clear the deck first, just by a few shuffles, and then I'll hand it to them and have them cut the cards from left to right into 3 piles. Like this. Then I have them put the cards back together. They are responsible for what comes up in the cards. But let's say that you're doing a reading by phone. What I usually say to the client is, relax, focus on your question, and I'm going to shuffle the cards and tell me when to stop. Sometimes I use just the old-fashioned way of shuffling. Sometimes people really like to hear cards being shuffled over the phone. It gives them a sense of action taking place. So they say stop, and what I will do is then spread out the cards, and with my non-dominant hand, because I'm right-handed, that would be my left hand, I would go ahead and choose 3 cards. Now I'll pick up the rest of the cards, and these are called the Death deck. If you've ever read any of Eileen Connolly's book, she's British, and they called it Death. And I know it sounds like death, but it's a death. And you just put the rest of the cards over here, because as the reading proceeds, sometimes you want to choose more cards to get even more clarification on what comes up. But in this case, we're only going to be doing 3 cards today. So I have already chosen the 3 cards that we're going to be using, and it's going to be a past, present, future spread. This is the past, and remember, we only read oracle cards right side up. I've already chosen them, so they're all right side up. I'm going to push them up here to make sure that you can see them in the video. And then the future. Past on the left, present in the middle, and then future. I'm going to put these so that they're out of the way a little bit more. So the question being posed to me today by a client is, would it be a good career choice for me to make a move in my present job? So as I look at the cards, well, we can see that this doesn't look very pleasant, and the name of the card is Mind. The middle card, this is the past. The middle card is a card called Letting Go, and the future card is a card that says Abundance. So at face value, already I'm getting a good idea of what the information is that I'm going to be telling my client. But remember, we're also going to be going into psychic impressions as well. So I relax, close my eyes, I get ready, just take a few deep breaths and get into the zone. And then as I start getting impressions, then I'll look at the first card on the left, that's the past, and I can see, in the past you've had a lot of mental activity thinking about the situation, and it's almost gotten to the point where in essence it's been driving you crazy. Should I stay in something that is familiar to me, that I have really mastered? I know what I'm doing, I can get up every day and feel confident with that, but I'm feeling a real urge to move into something new, and now that I have the opportunity to do that, I really want to move ahead with this, but I have a lot of reservations. I go back and forth, and I can tell my client, it's kind of driving you crazy. You've been in this situation before in the more distant past, and then making that decision finally to do the move into something new turned out okay for you, but maybe not as well as you would have liked. So there's some fear that you may be having that you're going to make a wrong choice. So as we move into the present here, I'm seeing that if you could just relax about the whole situation and let your higher self, your intuitive self, talk to you and try and step out of the fear. Just let go of the fear and get into the dreaming of what ifs. What are the possibilities? How exciting would this be for me? Am I too old to make a major change at this point in my life? I feel that my client is having some reservations about age, but this is telling me it's time to let go. You know, you can see the water in the pool. Water represents emotions. So emotions really need to be moved out of the equation and to let go and to see what comes in intuitively. And the letting go of the worry, to me, also is saying, don't worry about it. It looks as though this new job is going to be a wonderful opportunity for you, not only on the financial level, but for learning. You're going to be meeting a lot of new people. I think you're going to love your new boss, by the way. And it just feels like colors that are coming in are vivid and warm and happy with this. You know, I'm getting a symbol of the okay in my mind's eye. So let go of your fear is what this is about. And then as I get into future probabilities, I see, even though this is kind of a gnarly looking card for abundance in the Osho Zen, he's representative, I guess, of a guru, I get that there's a lot of happiness and abundance coming with making the decision to move ahead with the job change. It's like I see him floating on clouds. I see him sitting on a book of knowledge. A lot of new and wonderful things are coming in as a result of this new job. There will be a period of learning. There will be some school attached to it, I get. I also feel like the company is going to fund that. I feel like it's on the job so that my client wouldn't have to go to school outside of her 8 to 5 or 9 to 5 job. So there is so much coming in so many different ways. It's almost too good to be true. Now, in getting into this card even more, I get kind of like there's this smoke coming up from in front of the guru, and that's to me like the genie, you know, actually granting your wish. I get the rainbow coming in for the full color of the spectrum rainbow. I get with these two little celestial balls hanging there, I get balance, positive, negative balance. I get also that there's something spiritual. This lotus to me is really standing out. So there's something spiritual about this job that is coming in. And it feels like your guides, your higher guidance and your guides, teacher guides, are giving you the okay because they feel like this is an important step in the next several years of your life. And it's also great for your soul growth. So all the way around, not only does the money look good, but it looks good in a lot of other different ways as well. And to me, this feels like a job for my client that is long term. It's not going to be a year or two contract, or you know, they are in it for a while and then the company downsizes. I don't feel that at all. In fact, I feel like there's great potential for further growth. And over here, you may not be able to see, this stands out for me as well in this reading. And if you were taking this, it looks like a heart. And if you put the heart upright, it would look even more like a heart. The green to me represents fresh and clean, and also green's the color of money. So again, in the background, you see the little mountains, and to me that is another representation of spiritual growth, climbing the mountain towards something even higher. So again, to me, I would say overall, you want to let go of the worry and forget about what happened in the past. So I'm summing up the reading right now. It's very important that you can let go, pray on this, and just let your heart open up. And if you can step out of the fear, then you're going to feel much more comfortable with moving ahead. And I feel like there's going to be an aha moment coming in where you will finally make that final decision. Yes, I'm going to go with it. But my client is telling me, well, I only have 2 days to make the decision. And I tell them that's enough time to really focus and to let go of anything that might be an obstacle or in your way, and then to get into your decision. But finally, the final note is, if I were talking to my client face to face, I would say, this is what the reading is showing. This is what the cards are showing. These are the cards that we've chosen for your particular reading and answer to your question. But you have to take responsibility for your own decision in the end. I'm only your guide. I can only tell you what it looks like, what the future potentials are, future probabilities. But in the end, you really must make your own decision. And when you do, then you can take responsibility for how it works out. But I can assure you, it looks wonderful from where I'm sitting right now. So that's the end of our first sample reading. And in our class, you're going to be hearing me do another reading for a student, and some of you will be volunteering to do some readings on your own with your very own oracle cards. Now, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can practice with your friends and start feeling comfortable with doing readings, and you're going to find that it's not as frightening or scary as you might think if you're brand new to doing psychic readings. So thank you all for attending. I'm really glad you came, and have a very blessed day.